So there is stage 2, okay? All right, we need to be able to take payments. That's really where we're at. Okay, so now stage 3, let's just move on to stage 3. Stage 3 is remember, transfer ownership. Okay, so now we're going to transfer ownership. All right, we have our software set up. Okay, and so now we own the facility. But we don't have in our software, we don't have our tenants inside the software. Okay, so we have to get our tenants in the software. All right, so you have to have a list of tenants. Okay, and like, you know, like storage, they'll give you like a spreadsheet and say, fill the spreadsheet out. And it's like this like massive, huge spreadsheet. It's like so many columns and you got to fill it out. It's like so annoying, right? But you have to like, so, and then if you buy a facility where they don't have any software, then you're going to be like filling this spreadsheet out and it's going to take like forever. Right. And then, of course, if you buy one that there's already software there, then you could always export it and, you know, send it over and like, you know, clean it up and stuff like this. But I say, because every facility we've ever bought, like nobody's ever had software. Right now. But you need to have your tenants, you know, in a spreadsheet that you can send over to the software, because they will do like the first kind of like import for you and kind of set up like the very basics they'll set up for you. Okay, but you have to have all that information. So if you're buying an income producing property that already has a software, well, then it might be a little bit easier than if you're buying a mismanaged facility that does not have software, right? And so then you'll have to go through. So for instance, like we just bought a facility where it was like 135 doors and he did not have the software. And so Bonnie is like, she's getting really good at this, but she's sitting there and putting all this information into the spreadsheet for us. Right, that's the onboarding section. Remember, she's sitting there doing all this for us so that we can give it to storage and, you know, and import it. Right, but just know you have to get your tenants into the software somehow. Okay, because when you own the facility, your tenants, right, your tenants have to start their account. Right, they got to go in, you know how it is, right? It's now online, and they got to go in and fill out their profile, right? And you know, get into the system. And on top of that, they also have to put profile, you know, and also they have to add their payment method. Add the payment method. Okay. Because that does not transfer, it doesn't matter which software that you have, the payment method does not transfer over. Okay, so you're going to have to like get every tenant to log into their account, set their profile up, and get it and put their payment information in. Okay, which is not easy at all. And on top of that, you have to get them to sign your new contract. So you have to get, oh, that's on the onboarding section. Okay, so we'll put that here, contract. Oops, contract. You have to get the contract either from your attorney, like an attorney that understands self-storage law in your state, or you can join your self-storage association and get the contract from them, and you have to pay like a couple $100s to get that. I'm saying like most self-storage associations, they'll give you the contract for free for joining the association, right? And you want to get the one that's for your state. Now, over time, like we got the Georgia Self-Storage Association contract, and then we've used it now for 6 years and updated it, sent it to our attorney, and they've updated it and stuff like this as well too. And so the newer tenants are always signing the newest contract, right? You know, for every state that we have a facility in. But we started out by just getting it from the Self-Storage Association. Now we know, like, we should just give it to our attorney. Well, we'll just take this and give it to the attorney and have them just check it to make sure it's okay. Which I highly recommend, which is part of the onboarding process, because you're going to have to give that contract to your software so that they can import it into the software. And they will import it into the software, all right, for you, and set up all the fields and stuff. Right? But guess what? They can't set your contract up until you have your fee structure set up. Right? Okay, so you have to know what your fees are going to be. If they're late, what's this? What day is it late on? How much are they going to be charged? If they have to overlock, how much are they going to be charged? If they're, if you got to go to the auction process, how do you get charged? Are you doing deposits or not doing deposits? This whole thing. All right, you have to do all this. So you have to know the fee structure, because because when you give it to your software company, they're going to have to put this into the contract as a field that, like, yes, I agree. Essentially what we do is we do, like, clicks of, like, initials for every fee. Like, yes, I understand this. Yes, I understand this. Yes, I understand this. Right. And so, and you can set that up in your software. So you do all those initials by every fee that you have. But in the beginning, I think they'll do, like, one time, they'll come in and kind of set up the basics for you, your software. Now, I don't know if every software does that, honestly, but I know Storage does this for sure. Right? I'm assuming that the other ones kind of help you a little bit, right? All right, so you're setting up your fee structure. So you're getting your tenants into the system, getting them to start the account, getting them to add their payment information and to sign the contract. And you have to set your fee structure up so that they can have a contract that they can sign, right? And you cannot do really most of this until, like, the day of closing, right? And so, like, this takes, like, you need to be, like, when you're closing, you need to be on top of it, especially if you're closing at the end of the month. We typically try to close towards the end of the month, and so that means that we need to be on top of it so that we can start taking payments of that month immediately, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how we are. Okay. So that's transfer ownership. Another part of transfer ownership is that, and then also you have to notify the tenants. You have to notify the tenants that you're the new owner, right? And, so we have, like, we notify them that we're the new owner. And then on top of that, we get the owners to notify them that they're selling the property and that we're the new owner. So the tenants get notified twice from us. And also what's important is that if you're going to raise rates immediately, then you need to put that into your letter. Our rate changes are immediate. We rip the Band-Aid is what we do. And so you have to have your new rate structure in the letter of notification, letting the tenants know that you're the new owners. And you also have to have it in the fee structure here so that you can get the contract signed. Whew, man, that's exhausting. I'm exhausted just teaching this stuff. All right. Okay. All right, so that's, like, the basics. Now, obviously, there's, like, way more to this. Okay, so the software itself, I'm giving you the basics, but the software itself does everything. Okay, so, like, your communication with the tenant, right? So we do all communication is through email and text messages, right? Typically, we have that all set up, ready to go when we're closing on the facility. So that means you have to have, and then we send an email to notify as well, too, if we have their email addresses. A lot of times we don't have the email address, okay? But, like, communication, think about how you're going to communicate with the software. Most softwares, I don't know if all of them do, actually, honestly. I don't know if even ESS records your calls, but Storage records all your calls. And, and so you have to have, like, that all set up. You have to have your email communication for all your fee structures set up. Could you imagine? You have to have emails for every single one of the charges you're going to do. And you have to have Text message, email and text set up. Email and text. Okay. And you have to set all that up, right? For your fee structures. Now they set up the basics for you, right? You know, just like simple emails and stuff like, hey, and then you can go into the software and you can, they have like templates set up, and then you just pick which ones, and then you can like modify those templates and stuff, and put your logo and all this kind of stuff. But guess what? All that takes time and energy. You're basically in this stage, you're chasing tenants to get them to get into your system. And you have to be able to chase them by letters, emails, and text messages and phone calls, right? So guess what? All that has to be set up beforehand so that you can do that when you close on the facility. Okay. All right. So that's like the basics. That's like in stage 3. Remember, this is like 90 to 120 days. You're like getting the basics set up. Getting the basics, like I just need to get the tenants in the system, man, you know, and I just need to get the emails done so I can email everybody and let them know they need to pay me and stuff. Okay, this kind of stuff, right? Okay, so that's stage 3.